Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is one that hits close to home for so many of us: the impact of twisted intelligence and digital addiction on our kids and teens. We're going to talk about how technology, social media, and constant screen time are shaping the way young people think, act, and grow up. From the rise of social media addiction and gaming obsession to the effect on mental health and real-life relationships, this is a conversation that affects not just young people, but families and communities as a whole. And what makes this episode even more special is that it's actually inspired by one of you, a viewer, who reached out and asked for us to dive into this very topic. So, thank you for the suggestion. We'll be unpacking 10 key points about how technology is influencing today's youth and what we can do to help them build a healthy, balanced relationship with their screens. If you find value in this episode or think it might help someone else, please hit that like button, share it with your family and friends, and let's keep spreading the message. Your support means a lot and helps this channel grow. Now, let's dive in. The impact of technology on kids and teens, the digital overload. Technology is everywhere, and for kids and teens today, it's practically in their DNA. We're talking smartphones, tablets, gaming consoles, and laptops, all those gadgets that have become a part of everyday life. And while technology has given us so many amazing opportunities to learn, connect, and have fun, there's a side to it that's affecting young minds in ways we didn't see coming. Constant screen time and exposure to social media are shaping the way kids think, learn, and interact with the world around them, and not always in a good way. Let's break it down a bit. Think about how kids spend their days now compared to, say, 20 years ago. Back then, after school, you'd probably see kids running around outside, riding their bikes, playing sports, or hanging out at the park. But now, you're more likely to find kids sitting on the couch, eyes glued to their screens, scrolling through TikTok, playing video games for hours, or chatting with friends on Snapchat. It's a whole new world, a digital world, and while that world can be fun, it comes with some serious consequences for a child's mental, emotional, and social development. Constant stimulation and shortened attention spans. The thing about technology is that it offers instant gratification. Swipe, tap, click, and there's always something new to see, watch, or do. Kids are growing up in an environment where everything is available right now, and that constant stimulation can make it really hard for them to focus on anything that doesn't provide that same immediate reward. Imagine a 10-year-old trying to do their homework while their phone keeps lighting up with notifications from Instagram, text messages, and YouTube alerts. It's like trying to read a book in the middle of a busy highway. Distractions everywhere, making it almost impossible to focus on what's in front of you. And this isn't just a small issue. Studies have shown that kids who spend a lot of time on screens often have shorter attention spans and find it harder to concentrate on one thing for an extended period. They're so used to jumping from one app to another, one video to the next, that when it comes to sitting down and focusing on something that requires effort, like schoolwork, reading, or even just having a conversation, it becomes a real struggle. It's like their brains are constantly looking for that next hit of dopamine, the brain chemical that makes us feel good, and when they don't get it, they get bored. Fast. The decline of face-to-face social skills. Another big issue is how technology affects kids' social development. Remember when hanging out with friends meant actually going to their house, playing outside, or even just sitting together and talking? Well, a lot of kids today are missing out on those experiences. Instead of learning how to read facial expressions, tone of voice and body language, they're communicating through screens, using emojis, GIFs, and memes to express their feelings. And while that can be fun, it doesn't teach them the same social skills that come from real, face-to-face interaction. Imagine a kid who spends most of their time on their phone or tablet. When they finally have to interact with someone in person, maybe in class, at a family gathering, or on a sports team, they might feel awkward, unsure of what to say or how to behave. They might struggle to make eye contact, hold a conversation, or pick up on social cues simply because they haven't had as much practice doing it. And this lack of social skills can have a big impact on their ability to build meaningful friendships, express themselves confidently, and navigate the complexities of real-life interactions. Emotional dependence on technology. And let's not forget the emotional side of things. Kids are growing up in a world where their worth is often tied to how many likes they get on a photo, how many followers they have, or how many views their TikTok video racks up. This creates a constant pressure to stay connected, to keep posting, and to always be on. It's not just about having fun anymore, it's about keeping up. If a kid posts a picture and it doesn't get enough likes right away, they might start to feel like they're not cool enough, or that something is wrong with them. And when that feeling of not being enough starts to creep in, it can lead to anxiety, low self-esteem, and even depression. Think about how that must feel. A 13-year-old posts a picture with their friends at a party, and they're constantly refreshing their feed to see how many likes and comments they get. If the numbers aren't high enough, they might start to think, "What's wrong with me? Why don't people like my post?" It's a lot of emotional weight to carry for a kid who's just trying to figure out who they are. Sleep and mental well-being. And we can't forget about sleep. One of the biggest issues with screen time is how it messes with sleep patterns. Kids and teens often stay up late on their devices, texting, playing games, or just mindlessly scrolling. And all that blue light from screens can interfere with the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps us sleep. So not only are kids staying up later, but they're also not getting the quality sleep they need to be healthy, focused, and emotionally balanced. Lack of sleep can lead to a whole bunch of issues: irritability, difficulty concentrating, mood swings, and even problems with memory. Let's be real. Have you ever tried to have a conversation with a sleep-deprived teenager? It's like talking to a zombie. They're tired, grumpy, and just not themselves. And when you combine that with the pressures of school, social life, and growing up in a digital world, it can really take a toll on their mental health. The importance of balance. So what's the takeaway here? It's not about saying, "Hey, technology is bad, let's go back to the Stone Age." That's not realistic, and it's not necessary. Technology can be a powerful tool for learning, creativity, and connection. But for kids and teens, it's all about balance. It's about teaching them how to use technology mindfully, to put their devices down and be present in the moment, to connect with people in real life, and to understand that their worth isn't defined by the number of likes on a post. By finding that balance, kids can enjoy all the benefits of technology without sacrificing their mental, emotional, and social well-being. 2. Understanding twisted intelligence and its link to digital content. Let's dive into this idea of twisted intelligence. It sounds intense, right? It's a term that might not be super familiar, but it's a concept that's becoming more and more relevant in today's digital world. So, what is twisted intelligence? Essentially, it's when kids and teens use their intelligence and tech-savvy skills in ways that can harm them or mislead them, rather than help them grow in healthy, positive directions. And a lot of that twisted intelligence comes from the type of content they're consuming online. What exactly is twisted intelligence? Think of it like this. Kids today are growing up with more information at their fingertips than any generation before them. They have access to countless resources, from educational websites and YouTube tutorials to social media feeds filled with all kinds of information, and they're learning how to navigate these digital spaces faster than we can keep up. But here's the catch. They're not just learning useful things, they're also learning how to find shortcuts, manipulate systems, and sometimes even use their intelligence in ways that might not be good for them or those around them. For instance, a kid might figure out how to hack a video game to get unlimited lives, or learn how to set up fake accounts to hide what they're doing online from their parents. On the surface, this might seem like smart or creative behavior, but underneath, it's teaching them how to bend the rules, hide their actions, and find ways around boundaries. Habits that can stick with them as they grow older and face more serious life challenges. Exposure to inappropriate and misleading content. Another aspect of twisted intelligence is how kids are influenced by the vast amount of content they consume daily. We're talking about everything from YouTube videos and TikTok trends to online forums and social media posts. Kids are like sponges. They absorb everything around them, and the content they see online can shape the way they think, behave, and perceive the world. But here's the issue. Not all content is created equal. Some of it can be funny, educational, or inspiring, but a lot of it can be misleading, inappropriate, or even harmful. Take misinformation, for example. Kids are exposed to a lot of fake news and exaggerated content, whether it's conspiracy theories, clickbait headlines, or exaggerated life hacks that don't actually work. They're smart enough to understand how to find this content, but not always mature enough to know how to separate fact from fiction. And when kids start believing everything they see online without questioning it, their understanding of the world becomes distorted, leading to beliefs or behaviors that can be harmful to them and those around them. Or think about the way social media portrays ideal lifestyles. Many kids follow influencers or celebrities who showcase the perfect life. Fancy vacations, flawless selfies, expensive clothes. It creates a false sense of reality where kids think they need to look, act, or live a certain way to be successful or cool. And when their real lives don't match up to these standards, it can lead to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and even twisted goals that prioritize image over substance. Developing smart but risky behaviors. Another side to twisted intelligence is the way kids learn to navigate the digital world in ways that can actually put them at risk. For instance, some kids are incredibly tech-savvy. They know how to get around parental controls, download restricted content, or find ways to access websites they shouldn't be on. Again, while it might seem smart on the surface, it's actually setting them up for risky behaviors and exposure to content that isn't age-appropriate. Let's say a kid learns how to use VPNs, virtual private networks, to hide their online activity, or how to create burner accounts to engage in chats or social media platforms anonymously. On one hand, it shows a level of intelligence and creativity. On the other, it opens the door to cyberbullying, exposure to harmful communities, or even dangerous situations where they're talking to strangers or accessing adult content without any guidance. The spread of negative ideologies and challenges. And then there's the issue of online challenges and trends. We've all seen the rise of viral challenges that encourage risky or harmful behaviors. Everything from the infamous Tide Pod challenge to dangerous stunts that involve jumping off high places or participating in reckless dares. These challenges spread like wildfire on social media, and kids often get swept up in them without thinking through the consequences. This is where twisted intelligence really plays out. Kids are using their smarts to take part in these trends, often finding ways to outdo each other or make their own versions of these stunts to gain attention or go viral. But they're not thinking about the risks involved, whether it's physical harm, getting in trouble at school or home, or even legal consequences. They're so focused on being a part of the trend, on getting those likes and views, that they lose sight of what's truly important. Creating a healthy digital mindset. So, how do we help kids develop their intelligence in a positive way without falling into the traps of twisted intelligence? It starts with awareness and conversation. It's crucial to talk to kids about the content they're consuming, encouraging them to think critically about what they see online, and helping them understand the difference between what's real and what's just for show. It's not about shutting down their access to technology. It's about guiding them to use it responsibly. Encourage kids to ask questions like, "Is this source trustworthy?" Or, "What are the possible consequences of doing this?" By teaching them to approach the digital world with a healthy dose of skepticism and curiosity, we can help them develop the kind of intelligence that's not just smart, but also wise. It's also about helping them find positive role models online, content creators who promote healthy lifestyles, critical thinking, and kindness. There's so much good out there, and by guiding kids to the right kinds of content, we can help them develop a mindset that's rooted in growth, learning, and positive influence. 3. Types of digital addiction affecting today's youth. In today's world, when we talk about addiction, we're not just talking about the obvious ones like smoking or drinking. There's a whole new kind of addiction that's taken hold of young people everywhere. Digital addiction. And it's not just one thing. It's a mix of different kinds of addictions that all stem from our digital devices and the content we consume on them. We're talking about things like social media addiction, gaming addiction, binge watching, and even addiction to constantly checking for notifications. Let's break down some of these different types of digital addiction that are affecting today's youth and see how they're impacting their daily lives, mental health, and overall well-being. Social media addiction, the need for validation. Social media has become a huge part of daily life for young people, and it's no surprise that it's also one of the biggest sources of digital addiction. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and even Twitter create an environment where there's always something new to see, comment on, or like. And this constant stream of content is designed to keep users scrolling for hours on end. But social media addiction goes beyond just scrolling. It's about validation, the feeling of getting likes, comments, and shares. Imagine being a teenager who posts a photo and then spends the rest of the day checking their phone to see how many people have liked it, commented on it, or shared it. It creates a cycle where the need for validation becomes almost addictive. They start feeling like they need that external approval to feel good about themselves, and if they don't get it, they can end up feeling anxious, insecure, or even depressed. Think about it. How often have you seen kids take dozens of selfies just to get one that's Instagram-worthy? Or how many times have you noticed someone constantly refreshing their feed to see if their post is gaining traction? It's exhausting and it's emotionally draining, but that's the reality for so many young people today. They feel like they need to present a perfect version of themselves online, and that pressure to always look good, act cool, and be on 24/7 can lead to social media addiction that's hard to break. Gaming addiction, the escapism and rewards loop. Let's move on to gaming. Video games have always been popular, but with the rise of online multiplayer games, mobile gaming, and streaming platforms like Twitch, gaming addiction has become a real concern for young people. Games like Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, and countless others offer immersive experiences that allow kids to escape into different worlds, compete with others, and even connect with friends online. Now, don't get me wrong. Gaming can be a great way to have fun, learn new skills, and build teamwork. But it's easy for things to go too far, especially when games are designed to keep players coming back for more. There's a concept called the rewards loop in gaming. It's when players are constantly chasing achievements, levels, or rewards within the game, and each time they reach a new goal, their brain releases dopamine, a chemical that makes them feel good. It's like a little hit of happiness that keeps them hooked, and before they know it, they're playing for hours on end, sometimes sacrificing sleep, schoolwork, or even meals just to keep playing. And gaming addiction isn't just about the games themselves, it's also about the community around them. A lot of kids and teens feel like their gaming friends are their real friends, especially if they don't have a strong social circle in real life. This makes it even harder for them to step away from their screens, because to them, turning off the game feels like losing their social life, their achievements, and their sense of belonging all at once. Binge watching and content overload, the Netflix trap. Next up, binge watching. With platforms like Netflix, YouTube, and Disney+, it's never been easier to sit down and watch episode after episode of your favorite show or video. What starts as just one episode can quickly turn into an entire season or series in a single sitting. And let's be real, we've all been there. The way these platforms are designed makes it almost too easy to keep watching. The next episode starts automatically, and the content is tailored to keep you interested. But here's where binge watching can become a problem. It leads to content overload. When kids and teens spend hours a day watching videos or shows, they're not just spending a lot of time on their screens, they're also consuming a lot of information, ideas, and influences, and all that content can start to blur together, making it hard for them to focus on anything else or to think critically about what they're watching. Binge watching can also mess with sleep schedules. How many times have you or someone you know stayed up late saying, "Just one more episode," only to realize it's 2 a.m. and you've got school or work the next day? For kids and teens, this can mean losing precious hours of sleep, which affects their ability to focus, learn, and regulate their emotions. Constant notification checking, the fear of missing out, FOMO. Then there's the issue of constantly checking for notifications. Kids and teens today are dealing with something called FOMO, the fear of missing out. Every time their phone buzzes or lights up, they feel the need to check it immediately, whether it's a text, a social media notification, or an email. They don't want to miss a single thing, and that constant checking can lead to anxiety and stress. Imagine being in class, trying to pay attention to the lesson, but your phone is buzzing in your pocket. Or trying to spend time with your family, but feeling like you have to check your phone every few minutes just in case something new has happened. It's like being on call 24/7, and it can be exhausting, not to mention distracting. And it's not just about the notifications themselves, it's about the emotional impact of seeing those notifications. If they don't get a reply to a text right away, they might start to feel insecure, wondering if they've done something wrong or if their friends are ignoring them. It creates this cycle of constantly seeking reassurance, constantly needing to be in the loop, and it makes it hard for them to relax, be present, and enjoy the moment. The emotional and physical toll of digital addiction. The common thread between all these types of digital addiction is that they take a toll on both the mind and the body. Emotionally, they can lead to anxiety, stress, and a sense of inadequacy or insecurity. Physically, they can contribute to poor sleep, lack of exercise, and even issues like text neck or strained eyes from staring at screens for too long. It's important to recognize these patterns early and help young people find a balance between their digital lives and their real lives. That means setting healthy boundaries around screen time, encouraging offline activities like sports, art, or spending time with family, and helping them develop hobbies and interests that don't involve a screen. Ultimately, technology isn't going anywhere, and that's not a bad thing. But like anything in life, too much of it can be harmful. By understanding the different types of digital addiction and how they impact kids and teens, we can start taking steps to create healthier habits, stronger connections, and a balanced approach to living in a digital world. 4. The psychological effects of digital addiction. How screens are shaping young minds. Let's dive into the deeper psychological impact of digital addiction. While it might seem harmless for kids to spend hours scrolling through social media, gaming, or binge-watching their favorite shows, the reality is that all that screen time can seriously affect their mental health. The overstimulation, the constant need for validation, and the endless cycle of comparison can lead to a range of issues, like anxiety, depression, and social isolation, issues that can shape how kids grow up and interact with the world around them. Anxiety and the pressure to be always on. One of the biggest psychological effects of digital addiction is anxiety, and it comes in many forms. Think about how it feels when you're constantly connected, constantly expected to reply, post, and engage. It creates this sense of urgency and pressure, like you can't miss a moment, a post, or a notification. And for kids and teens, this anxiety can become overwhelming. Let's say a teenager spends a lot of time on Instagram or TikTok. They see their friends posting pictures of their latest adventures, funny videos, or perfect selfies. Every post becomes a kind of competition. Who has the most likes, the best comments, the coolest photos? It's not just about sharing anymore. It's about performing. And the pressure to keep up, to look good, to always be on, can lead to a feeling of anxiety that follows them throughout their day. There's even a term for this: social media anxiety disorder. It's when the constant use of social media leads to feelings of anxiety, especially when kids start feeling like they're not getting enough likes, comments, or attention online. It makes them question their worth, their popularity, and their place in their social circles, often leading to a cycle of needing to post more, check more, and stay constantly connected. And let's not forget the anxiety around responding. Kids today often feel like they need to reply to texts, DMs and comments right away, or they risk looking rude or uninterested. Imagine being a 14-year-old who's just trying to focus on schoolwork, but every few minutes their phone buzzes with a new message and they feel like they have to respond or else they'll let someone down. It's like being on call 24/7, and it creates a kind of anxiety that can make it hard to relax, focus, or be fully present in the moment. Depression and the comparison trap. Another major psychological effect of digital addiction is depression, and a lot of it stems from the never-ending cycle of comparison that social media and online platforms create. Think about it. When kids and teens scroll through their feeds, they're seeing a curated, filtered version of everyone's lives. They see their friends looking happy, successful, and perfect, and it's easy for them to start feeling like they don't measure up. Let's imagine a teen who's struggling with self-esteem. They're dealing with the usual challenges of growing up, school stress, body image, trying to fit in. But every time they open their phone, they're hit with images of their peers who seem to have it all together. They might see a classmate on a glamorous vacation, a friend posting gym selfies, or an influencer with flawless skin and a dream life. And even though they know that these posts are just a highlight reel, it's hard not to feel like they're somehow falling short. This constant comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy, sadness, and depression. It makes kids feel like their own lives aren't good enough, and that they're missing out on some magical experience that everyone else seems to be having. It's called comparison culture, and it's one of the biggest contributors to the rise in depression among young people today. Plus, there's the issue of cyberbullying. Unlike traditional bullying, which happens face-to-face, cyberbullying follows kids wherever they go. A mean comment, a cruel DM, or even an embarrassing photo can spread like wildfire online, leaving kids feeling targeted, isolated, and helpless. And because the bullying happens behind a screen, it can often feel even more intense and overwhelming. Isolation and loss of real-life connection. It might seem ironic, but despite being connected all the time, kids and teens today are feeling more isolated than ever. Digital addiction can make it easy for young people to lose touch with real-life connections, opting to spend time on their screens instead of engaging in face-to-face interactions. And that loss of connection can have a big impact on their social skills, emotional well-being, and sense of belonging. Imagine a group of friends hanging out together, but instead of talking, laughing, and making memories, they're all on their phones. They're sitting next to each other, but they're not really together. They're texting other people, scrolling through their feeds, or playing games. It's like they're physically present, but emotionally disconnected. And over time, this kind of behavior can lead to feelings of loneliness and isolation, even when they're surrounded by people. And then there's the issue of emotional vulnerability. In real-life conversations, kids learn how to read facial expressions, tone of voice, and body language, all of which are crucial for building deep, meaningful relationships. But when those interactions happen through a screen, a lot of that emotional nuance gets lost. Kids don't learn how to truly connect, to listen, or to be present with others. And as a result, they can start feeling more isolated, more misunderstood, and less connected to the world around them. Stress and the pressure to keep up. Another psychological effect of digital addiction is stress. Specifically, the stress of keeping up with everything that's happening online. It's not just about staying updated with the latest trends, memes, or viral challenges. It's about staying updated with what's happening in their own social circles. Who's dating who? Who's posting what? Who's fighting? Who's friends? Who's not? It's a lot to keep up with, and it can create a kind of social stress that's hard to escape. Let's say a teen is part of a group chat with their friends. Every day, there's a constant stream of messages, drama, plans, and gossip. And if they miss even a few hours of conversation, they feel out of the loop. So they start feeling like they need to constantly check their phone, stay on top of every message, and make sure they're not missing out on anything important. It's stressful, it's exhausting, and it can make it hard to focus on anything else. This stress can also spill over into academic pressure. Kids who are addicted to their screens might find it hard to focus on their schoolwork, leading to procrastination, late nights, and a constant struggle to keep up with assignments. And when their grades start to slip, it can create a cycle of stress and anxiety that feels impossible to break. The need for healthy coping mechanisms. So, what's the solution? How can kids and teens cope with the psychological effects of digital addiction? It starts with building healthy coping mechanisms and finding balance in their digital and real lives. Encouraging kids to take breaks from their screens, engage in offline activities, and develop hobbies that don't involve technology can help them create a sense of balance and reduce the psychological impact of their digital habits. It's also important to encourage open conversations about mental health. Talking about anxiety, depression, and stress in a supportive and understanding way can help kids feel like they're not alone and give them the tools to seek help when they need it. And promoting activities that involve real-life connection, like spending time with family, playing sports, or participating in community events, can help kids build a sense of belonging and emotional resilience that isn't tied to their screens. In the end, it's about helping kids understand that their value isn't determined by their online presence, and that true happiness comes from building meaningful relationships, developing a strong sense of self, and finding joy in the real, messy, imperfect moments of life, not just the filtered ones. 5. Loss of focus and interest in studies and personal growth. One of the biggest challenges of living in a digital age is the impact technology has on young people's ability to focus and their overall interest in personal growth and education. Imagine trying to concentrate on a book or a class while your phone is buzzing with notifications every couple of minutes. It's no wonder kids and teens today are finding it hard to focus for long periods, engage deeply in their studies, or even explore hobbies outside of their screens. Short attention spans and constant distractions. Let's face it, kids are growing up with a constant stream of stimulation, whether it's a TikTok feed full of quick 15-second videos or an endless YouTube autoplay that keeps suggesting more content. It's all designed to capture attention for a few seconds and then move on to the next flashy thing. This creates an environment where attention spans are shrinking, and anything that requires sustained focus, like reading, studying, or even having a deep conversation, starts to feel like a chore. Imagine a student trying to sit down and work on their homework, but every time they try to start, their phone lights up. It's their best friend tagging them in a meme, a game notification reminding them to play, or an influencer going live. The temptation to check their phone becomes overwhelming, and before they know it, hours have passed without any real work getting done. This constant interruption not only prevents deep learning, but also makes it harder for them to build the habit of focusing on one task for an extended period. The problem with these short attention spans isn't just about struggling to study, it's about how it affects all aspects of life. Kids start finding it hard to read books, listen to long explanations, or even just sit quietly with their thoughts without needing to reach for a screen. It's like their brains are constantly craving that next hit of dopamine that comes from digital stimulation, and anything that doesn't provide instant gratification quickly becomes boring. The decline of personal interests and hobbies. It's not just schoolwork that's affected, it's also the ability to pursue personal interests, hobbies, and skills outside of the digital world. Remember when kids used to spend their free time drawing, playing sports, learning a musical instrument, or exploring nature? Nowadays, a lot of that time is spent in front of screens, and while there are definitely benefits to some types of digital learning, like educational games or online tutorials, there's a difference between learning a skill because you're genuinely interested and just scrolling because you're bored. Let's say a kid used to love drawing. They'd spend hours doodling, learning new techniques, and creating their own comic strips. But once they get hooked on social media, that passion for drawing can start to fade. Instead of picking up a pencil when they have free time, they pick up their phone. And even though they might follow artists online and look at art on their feed, they're no longer practicing or developing their own skills. Their interest becomes more passive, consuming rather than creating. Or consider a teen who used to be really into sports. They played soccer, loved going to practice, and dreamed of making the team. But over time, they get more into gaming. And since playing games gives them instant feedback, rewards, and social interaction, all without leaving the house, they start to skip practices, lose interest in their sport, and become more sedentary. Before long, they're spending most of their time in front of a screen, and that once burning passion for soccer becomes a distant memory. Difficulty engaging in deep work and learning. The constant use of technology also affects how kids learn and think. Deep work is the ability to focus on a challenging task for a long period without getting distracted, and it's a skill that's crucial for learning, problem-solving, and creative thinking. But deep work requires the ability to sit with discomfort, to push through boredom, and to keep going even when things get hard. All things that are becoming harder to do when kids are used to the instant, surface-level engagement of digital content. Imagine a student who's studying for a big exam. The material is difficult, and it requires concentration, memorization, and critical thinking. But if that student is constantly checking their phone, their brain never gets a chance to fully dive into the material. It's like trying to swim underwater while coming up for air every few seconds. You never really get a chance to explore the depths, to connect ideas, or to understand the material on a deeper level. This lack of deep work not only makes it harder to succeed academically, but also stifles creativity and problem-solving skills. When kids don't learn how to think deeply, they start looking for shortcuts, easy answers, and quick solutions, rather than engaging in the slow, sometimes difficult process of truly understanding something. And that can affect everything from their schoolwork to their ability to solve real-life problems as they grow older. Lack of motivation for personal growth. Another effect of technology on young people is the loss of motivation for personal growth and self-improvement. Personal growth requires self-reflection, goal-setting, and consistent effort, things that don't come with instant results. But when kids are used to the quick-fix nature of technology, they start to lose interest in anything that doesn't give them immediate feedback or instant gratification. Think of a teenager who wants to get better at playing the guitar. It's a skill that takes time, practice, and dedication. But if that same teen is spending hours a day on social media, they might feel discouraged if they don't see results right away. They might look at YouTube guitarists who make it look so easy and think, "I'll never be that good," leading them to give up before they've even really started. The problem is that they're comparing their day one to someone else's day 1000, and that comparison can make them feel like it's not even worth trying. Or take personal fitness, an area where instant results are rare. A kid who wants to get in shape might start working out, but quickly lose motivation when they don't see changes right away. And when they can just as easily pick up their phone, play a game, or scroll through funny videos to get a quick hit of dopamine, it's easy to understand why they might choose the screen over the hard work of personal improvement. Creating balance and encouraging deep focus. So, how do we help kids find balance? How do we encourage them to develop the focus and passion they need to succeed in both their studies and their personal lives? It starts with setting healthy screen time limits and promoting activities that require focus, patience, and hands-on learning. Encourage kids to spend time reading, doing puzzles, playing sports, creating art, or working on a long-term project that they care about. It's also important to model good behavior. If adults are constantly on their phones, it's hard to expect kids to do any differently. Showing kids that it's okay to be bored, that it's important to take breaks from screens, and that deep work and dedication are valuable can make a big difference in how they see and use their time. And remember, helping kids develop focus, self-discipline, and a love for learning isn't about cutting out technology altogether. It's about teaching them how to use it in a way that enhances their lives, rather than distracts from their potential. By helping them find balance, set goals, and explore their interests beyond their screens, we can help them grow into well-rounded, motivated individuals who are ready to take on the challenges of both the digital and real world. 6. The impact of violent or inappropriate content, shaping values and behavior. We often think of the internet as a place to find information, learn new skills, and stay connected with friends, but there's a darker side to it that often goes unnoticed: the exposure to violent, explicit, or otherwise inappropriate content. For kids and teens, this content is just a click away, and its impact can be far-reaching. It's not just about what they're watching, it's about how that content shapes their values, behavior, and understanding of the world. Exposure to violent content, desensitization, and aggression. One of the main concerns about kids' access to online content is exposure to violence. Whether it's through video games, social media, or even seemingly innocent TV shows and movies, kids are often exposed to graphic images, fight scenes, and violent behavior. And while a lot of people argue that it's just entertainment, the truth is that consistent exposure to violent content can have real effects on how kids perceive and interact with the world around them. Let's say a kid spends a lot of time playing violent video games where the objective is to defeat enemies, destroy targets, and be the last one standing. Over time, they might start to see violence as normal or even cool. It's like their brains become desensitized to the impact of violence, and they start to lose empathy for those who are hurt or affected by it. And when they encounter conflict in real life, whether it's a disagreement at school, a confrontation with a sibling, or even just a frustrating situation, They might be more likely to react aggressively or view violence as a valid way to solve problems. There's even research that suggests that exposure to violent content can lead to aggressive thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It doesn't mean that every kid who plays a violent video game or watches a fight scene will become violent themselves, but it does increase the likelihood that they'll see aggression as a normal way to handle conflict, making it harder for them to develop healthy communication and problem-solving skills. Inappropriate sexual content and its effect on self-image and relationships. Another major issue is the exposure to sexual content online. With the rise of platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, kids are often exposed to content that's not age-appropriate, from suggestive dances and revealing clothing to explicit discussions about sex and relationships. And let's not even get started on the fact that pornography is just a few clicks away, even for kids who aren't actively seeking it out. The problem is that when kids and teens are exposed to sexual content before they're emotionally or mentally ready, it can shape their understanding of what relationships, intimacy, and self-worth are supposed to look like. Imagine a 12-year-old girl who spends hours a day on Instagram, following influencers who post revealing photos, discuss their love lives openly, and portray a certain standard of beauty. It's easy for that young girl to start feeling like she needs to look a certain way, act a certain way, or be in a relationship to be cool or valuable. And it's not just about self-image. It's also about how kids learn to approach relationships and consent. When teens are exposed to content that portrays unhealthy or unrealistic views of intimacy, they might start developing their own expectations based on what they see online, rather than understanding what a healthy, respectful relationship looks like in real life. This can lead to confusion, insecurity, and even risky behavior when they start exploring their own relationships and identities. Influence of negative and harmful communities. Another concerning aspect of online content is the existence of toxic communities and challenges that promote dangerous behaviors. From pro-anorexia forums and self-harm communities to viral challenges that involve risky stunts or dangerous dares, there's a lot of content online that can encourage kids to engage in behavior that's harmful to themselves or others. Let's say a teen is struggling with their mental health and stumbles upon a community that glorifies self-harm as a way to cope. Instead of finding support or guidance to deal with their struggles in a healthy way, they might be encouraged to engage in harmful behaviors or to see their pain as a badge of honor. It's a scary reality, but one that's happening to many young people who are searching for connection, understanding, and validation in the wrong places. Or consider the rise of dangerous viral challenges that spread on social media. Kids might see a video of someone doing a risky stunt, like jumping off a roof, consuming something harmful, or participating in a dangerous dare, and think, "That looks fun, I want to try that too." Without understanding the risks or consequences, they might go out and mimic those behaviors, putting themselves in harm's way just for the sake of likes or views. Distorted values and moral understanding. When kids are constantly exposed to violent, sexual, or otherwise inappropriate content, it doesn't just affect their behavior, it affects their values and morality. They might start to believe that aggression is a sign of strength, that their self-worth is tied to their appearance, or that risky behavior is cool and exciting. And because they're still developing their sense of right and wrong, their understanding of what's acceptable can become warped by the content they see online. For example, a kid who watches prank videos that involve bullying or humiliating others might start to see that behavior as funny or acceptable. They might think it's okay to make fun of someone, pull a cruel prank, or laugh at someone's pain, without understanding the emotional impact it can have on others. This creates a distorted sense of empathy, where they struggle to see how their actions affect those around them. It's not just about what kids watch. It's about what they learn to value. If their online world is filled with content that glorifies superficiality, aggression, or risky behavior, they might start to see those things as important, even if they go against the values that their parents or teachers are trying to instill. Guiding kids toward healthy content and understanding. So how can we protect kids from the negative effects of inappropriate content? It's not about blocking them from the internet altogether. That's almost impossible in today's world. Instead, it's about guiding them toward healthy, positive content and helping them develop the tools to critically evaluate what they see online. Parents and caregivers can play a huge role in this by having open conversations about what kids are watching, why it might be harmful, and how it makes them feel. Encouraging kids to think critically, asking questions like, "What do you think the person in this video was trying to accomplish?" Or, "How would you feel if someone did this to you?" can help them build a sense of discernment and empathy. It's also important to set boundaries around screen time and the types of content kids are allowed to access. Using parental controls, encouraging kids to spend time on age-appropriate apps and platforms, and promoting offline activities can help create a balanced digital experience that supports healthy development. Ultimately, it's about empowering kids to make informed choices, to understand the impact of what they consume, and to develop values and behaviors that are based on kindness, respect, and integrity, not just what's trending online. 7. Family disconnection and its effect on youth behavior. One of the often overlooked impacts of digital addiction is how it creates a rift within families. As kids and teens become more attached to their screens, whether it's their phones, tablets, or gaming consoles, they begin to disconnect from their family members, leading to less meaningful interactions, fewer shared experiences, and an overall lack of emotional support. The more time young people spend online, the less time they spend bonding with their parents, siblings, and other family members. And that disconnection can have a serious effect on their behavior, development, and emotional health. Less quality time. Together, missing out on bonding moments. Remember the days when family time meant sitting around the dinner table, talking about your day and sharing stories. Or when weekends were all about going on family outings, playing board games, or just hanging out together. Those moments of togetherness were opportunities to bond, share values, and support one another. But for many families today, those experiences are becoming increasingly rare. Think about a family sitting down for dinner, but instead of talking to each other, each member is staring at their phone or tablet. The teen is scrolling through social media, the younger kid is playing a game, and even the parents might be checking their emails or watching a video. It's not that they don't care about each other. It's just that the allure of technology is so strong that it pulls their attention away from the present moment. And as a result, they miss out on those meaningful conversations and bonding experiences that help build strong family connections. When families stop spending quality time together, kids lose out on the opportunity to learn important social and emotional skills. They don't learn how to communicate effectively, how to listen and empathize, or how to resolve conflicts in a healthy way. And because they're not getting that support and guidance from their family, they're more likely to turn to their devices for comfort, validation, and entertainment. Increasing emotional distance and isolation. The emotional distance that comes with digital addiction doesn't just affect family dynamics, it affects kids' sense of belonging and emotional safety. When kids don't feel connected to their families, they start to feel isolated, misunderstood, and even unloved. And that emotional gap can lead to behaviors like acting out, seeking attention in unhealthy ways, or withdrawing from their loved ones altogether. Imagine a teenager who's struggling with their mental health, feeling stressed about school, dealing with peer pressure, or going through a rough time emotionally. If their family is disconnected and not paying attention, that teen might feel like they have no one to turn to. And because they're not getting the emotional support they need at home, they might seek it elsewhere, whether that's through online communities, social media followers, or friends who might not always have their best interests at heart. This sense of isolation can also lead to risky behaviors. Without the guidance and support of their family, kids are more likely to make impulsive decisions, engage in unsafe activities, or seek validation from strangers online. They might start talking to people they don't know, sharing personal information, or trying to fit in with groups that don't align with their values, all because they're looking for the sense of connection and understanding that they're missing at home. Parents' role in setting boundaries and being present. It's important to recognize that family disconnection isn't just about the kids, it's also about the parents. Many adults are just as addicted to their screens as their children are, whether it's because of work, social media, or other online activities. And when parents are constantly on their devices, they set a precedent for their kids. If a parent is always on their phone during dinner, it sends the message that screen time is more important than family time. One of the best ways to bridge the emotional gap is for parents to lead by example. That means setting boundaries around their own screen time, putting their phones away during family activities, and making an effort to be present in their kids' lives. Simple actions like having regular device-free dinners, spending one-on-one time with each child, and actively listening when kids want to talk can make a huge difference in building a strong emotional connection. It's also important for parents to be aware of what their kids are doing online. That doesn't mean spying on them or invading their privacy. It means having open conversations about the apps they're using, the content they're watching, and the people they're interacting with. By showing interest in their digital lives, parents can help guide their kids toward healthy online habits while also building trust and understanding. Balancing digital and real-life interactions. The goal isn't to eliminate technology from family life altogether. After all, devices are a part of modern living. The key is to find a balance between digital and real-life interactions. Families can set rules around screen time, like no devices during meals, a tech-free hour each day, or designated times for family activities that don't involve screens. By creating these boundaries, families can carve out intentional time to connect, talk, and build memories together. Encouraging shared offline activities, like cooking together, going for walks, playing sports, or doing crafts, can also help kids learn to enjoy experiences that don't involve technology. It's about showing them that fun, connection, and growth can happen outside of their screens, and that spending time together as a family is valuable and meaningful. Ultimately, building a strong family connection isn't just about spending time together. it's about being emotionally present. When families prioritize real-life connections, kids develop a sense of security, self-worth, and emotional support that helps them navigate both the digital world and the real world with confidence and resilience. 8. The importance of parental monitoring and youth education. While technology has its benefits, it's crucial for parents to take an active role in guiding their kids' digital lives. Monitoring what kids are doing online, setting boundaries around screen time, and having open discussions about internet safety can make a big difference in helping them use technology in a healthy and balanced way. It's not about controlling their every move. It's about creating an environment where they can safely explore, learn, and grow without falling into the pitfalls of digital addiction. The role of parents in setting healthy boundaries. One of the most important things parents can do is set healthy boundaries around their kids' screen time. That might mean establishing rules like no screens before bed, limiting time on social media, or designating tech-free zones in the house, like the dining room or bedrooms. By creating these boundaries, parents can help kids develop healthy habits around technology use and learn the importance of balance in their lives. For example, setting a rule that no one uses their phone during family meals can encourage more meaningful conversations and quality time together. Or having a set screen curfew before bedtime can help kids wind down and get better sleep without the blue light from their screens disrupting their rest. It's also important for parents to set a good example with their own screen time. If kids see their parents constantly checking their phones, scrolling through social media, or working late into the night on their devices, they'll think that's normal behavior. By modeling balanced screen use, parents can show their kids that technology is just one part of life, not the main focus. Teaching kids digital literacy and safety. Another key aspect of parental monitoring is teaching kids about digital literacy and online safety. It's not just about keeping them away from inappropriate content. It's about helping them understand how to navigate the digital world responsibly. Kids need to know how to spot fake news, how to protect their privacy online, and how to handle situations like cyberbullying or online harassment. Parents can have regular conversations with their kids about what's happening in their digital lives, what apps they're using, who they're talking to, and how they're feeling about their online experiences. Creating an open, judgment-free space for these discussions can help kids feel comfortable coming to their parents if they ever encounter something that makes them uncomfortable, or if they need help navigating a tricky situation online. It's also helpful to set guidelines around the types of content kids are allowed to access. Using parental controls, filtering out inappropriate websites, and encouraging kids to use kid-friendly apps can help create a safe online environment where kids can explore and learn without stumbling upon harmful or adult content. Empowering kids to make smart choices. Ultimately, the goal of parental monitoring isn't just to shield kids from the dangers of the internet. It's to empower them to make smart choices and develop a healthy relationship with technology. As kids grow older, they'll start making more decisions on their own, and they need to have the skills and knowledge to use technology responsibly. Encouraging kids to set their own screen time limits, take breaks from their devices, and find hobbies or interests outside of technology can help them develop a balanced lifestyle. By teaching kids to be mindful of how they use their screens and to prioritize their mental health, relationships, and personal growth, Parents can help set them up for success in both their digital and offline lives. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes along the way. Parenting in the digital age is a learning experience for both parents and kids, and it's all about working together to find what works best for your family. 9. Building emotional and social intelligence as a prevention tool. While digital addiction is a growing problem, one of the most powerful ways to combat its effects is to help kids and teens build their emotional and social intelligence. These skills are all about understanding and managing emotions, developing empathy for others, and building healthy, meaningful relationships. By fostering these qualities, young people are better equipped to navigate the challenges of both the digital world and real life, creating a strong foundation for balanced and healthy growth. The power of emotional intelligence, understanding and expressing emotions. Emotional intelligence, EI, is the ability to recognize, understand and manage one's own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. For kids and teens, developing EI is crucial, especially in a world where so much communication happens through screens. When kids learn how to express their feelings in healthy ways, cope with stress, and develop a sense of self-awareness, they're less likely to turn to technology as a way to escape or numb their emotions. Imagine a teen who feels stressed about school, friendships, or family issues. If they don't have the tools to understand and manage those emotions, they might turn to their phone for distraction, endlessly scrolling through social media or watching videos as a way to avoid dealing with what they're feeling. But if that same teen has learned how to identify and talk about their emotions, they're more likely to reach out to a trusted friend or family member, use mindfulness techniques to relax, or engage in a creative hobby that helps them process their feelings. Developing emotional intelligence also means learning how to handle negative emotions like frustration, anger, or sadness. When kids understand that these feelings are normal and learn healthy ways to cope, like journaling, meditating, or talking to someone they trust, they're less likely to lash out, engage in risky behavior, or become overwhelmed by their emotions. Building social intelligence. Connecting with others. Offline. Social intelligence, SI, is about developing strong communication skills, understanding social dynamics, and building meaningful connections with others. And while social media might seem like a way to stay connected, it often lacks the depth and authenticity of face-to-face interactions. Teaching kids how to build real-life social skills can help them form deeper, more meaningful relationships and reduce their reliance on online validation. One way to build SI is to encourage kids to engage in activities that require teamwork, communication, and empathy. Sports, clubs, and group activities are great opportunities for kids to learn how to cooperate with others, resolve conflicts, and support their peers. And because these activities happen offline, they help kids develop confidence in their social skills and learn how to connect with others on a deeper level. Imagine a kid who joins a sports team. Not only are they getting physical exercise, but they're also learning how to work together with their teammates, navigate wins and losses, and build friendships based on shared experiences and goals. These skills translate to other areas of life, whether it's building friendships at school, collaborating on a group project, or simply being a good listener when a friend is going through a tough time. Encouraging face-to-face interactions also helps kids learn how to read non-verbal cues like body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. These are crucial skills for developing empathy and understanding others' emotions. Skills that are often lost in online interactions where messages can be easily misinterpreted. Practicing mindfulness and self-reflection. Mindfulness is another powerful tool for building emotional and social intelligence. When kids practice mindfulness, they learn how to be present in the moment, pay attention to their thoughts and feelings, and respond to situations with intention rather than reacting impulsively. This helps them develop a stronger sense of self-awareness and emotional regulation, which can reduce their reliance on technology as a way to cope with stress or boredom. For example, practicing mindfulness might involve simple activities like deep breathing exercises, guided meditations, or even just taking a moment to observe their surroundings without any distractions. These practices teach kids how to slow down, connect with their emotions, and develop a sense of calm and balance that can be difficult to find in a fast-paced digital world. Self-reflection is also a key part of developing emotional intelligence. Encouraging kids to reflect on their experiences, what they learned, how they felt, and what they would do differently, can help them build a deeper understanding of themselves and their relationships. Journaling, talking with a mentor, or simply having quiet time to think are all great ways to practice self-reflection and grow emotionally. Promoting real-life problem-solving and critical thinking. In addition to emotional and social intelligence, it's important for kids to develop problem-solving skills and critical thinking, skills that help them navigate the challenges of life both online and offline. When kids learn how to think critically, evaluate situations, and make thoughtful decisions, they're less likely to fall into the traps of digital addiction, like following toxic online trends or making impulsive choices based on what they see online. One way to develop these skills is to encourage kids to face challenges and solve problems without immediately turning to technology for answers. For instance, if a kid is struggling with a math problem, instead of looking up the solution online, they could try working through the problem step by step, ask a family member for help, or use a book as a resource. These practices teach perseverance, patience, and resourcefulness, qualities that are essential for personal growth and success. It's also important to promote activities that require hands-on learning and creative thinking. Things like building a model, learning to cook, playing an instrument, or working on a science project all require kids to engage their minds in a different way than they do when using screens. These activities not only build practical skills, but also foster a sense of accomplishment and confidence in their abilities. Finding balance through emotional and social intelligence. The goal of building emotional and social intelligence isn't to eliminate technology from kids' lives. It's to help them use it in a way that enhances their well-being rather than detracts from it. By developing self-awareness, empathy, and strong social skills, kids are better equipped to make healthy choices, set boundaries around their screen time, and build connections that go beyond the digital world. When kids are emotionally and socially intelligent, they're more likely to use technology as a tool for learning, connecting, and growing, rather than a crutch for coping with emotions or filling a void. And when they find that balance, they're able to develop into well-rounded, resilient individuals who can thrive both online and offline. 10. Strategies for overcoming digital addiction, finding balance and healthy habits. So we've covered all the ways that technology can impact kids and teens, But what can we do to help them break free from digital addiction and develop healthier habits? The answer lies in creating a balanced relationship with technology, one that allows young people to enjoy the benefits of their screens without losing sight of the real world. Let's explore some practical strategies for overcoming digital addiction and promoting a healthier lifestyle. Setting screen time limits and boundaries. One of the most effective ways to reduce digital addiction is to set screen time limits. Whether it's limiting the amount of time spent on social media, turning off screens an hour before bedtime, or designating tech-free days, setting clear boundaries helps kids learn to use technology in moderation. Parents can work with their kids to create a screen time schedule that makes sense for the whole family. For example, they might decide that weekends are for tech-free family activities, or that phones are put away during homework time. And by involving kids in the process of setting these limits, they're more likely to understand and respect the rules. It's also helpful to set boundaries around the types of content kids can access. Encouraging kids to use their devices for educational purposes, creative projects, or connecting with friends in positive ways can help shift their focus away from mindless scrolling or unproductive screen time. Encouraging offline activities and hobbies. Another key strategy is to encourage kids to find hobbies and activities that don't involve screens. Sports, music, art, reading, volunteering. There are so many ways for kids to explore their interests and passions offline. And the more time they spend engaging in these activities, the less they'll feel the need to turn to their screens for entertainment or distraction. For example, a teen who loves photography might take up nature photography as a hobby, spending time outdoors capturing beautiful landscapes and practicing their skills. Or a kid who enjoys cooking might start trying out new recipes in the kitchen, learning how to prepare meals for their family. These offline activities not only help kids develop new skills and interests, but also promote a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment that screens alone can't provide. Developing healthy digital habits, mindful use of technology. It's not just about limiting screen time, it's about teaching kids how to use technology mindfully. That means helping them become aware of how they're using their devices, why they're using them, and how their screen time makes them feel. Encouraging kids to ask themselves questions like, "Am I using my phone because I'm bored?" Or, "How do I feel after spending an hour on social media?" can help them develop a more intentional relationship with their devices. Parents can also encourage tech breaks throughout the day. Taking regular breaks from screens, whether it's to go for a walk, play with a pet, or just sit quietly, helps kids reset their minds and avoid the overstimulation that comes with constant screen use. And let's not forget about digital detoxes. Taking a full day or weekend off from screens can be a great way to recharge, reconnect with family and friends, and remember what it's like to be fully present in the moment. These detoxes can be a powerful reminder that there's a whole world out there beyond the screen, just waiting to be explored. Building a positive digital environment. Lastly, creating a positive digital environment can help kids develop a healthier relationship with technology. That means surrounding them with content, apps, and online communities that inspire learning, creativity, and positive connection. Encouraging kids to follow educational accounts, use mindfulness apps, or join online groups that promote kindness and support can help shift their digital experience in a more positive direction. It's also important to model positive behavior as a family. having open conversations about the pros and cons of technology, sharing uplifting and educational content, and practicing gratitude for both digital and offline experiences can create a balanced, healthy approach to technology use. Finding balance for a healthier digital life. In the end, it's all about balance. Technology is a powerful tool that can enhance our lives in so many ways, but it's up to us to use it wisely. By setting limits, finding offline passions, and developing a mindful approach to screen time, kids and teens can learn to use their devices in a way that supports their growth, well-being, and happiness, without letting technology take over their lives. Remember, it's not about taking away the fun of screens. It's about helping young people discover the joy of living fully, both online and off. And that wraps up today's deep dive into the world of digital addiction and how it's impacting our youth. It's clear that technology is here to stay, and it can be an amazing tool for learning, connecting, and having fun, but finding that balance is key. I hope today's episode gave you some insights into how technology can affect our mental health, relationships, and personal growth, and what we can do to create a healthier digital environment for our kids, our teens, and even ourselves. Remember, it's all about balance, finding time to disconnect, to explore the real world, and to develop connections that go beyond our screens. If any of this resonated with you, or if you know someone who could benefit from hearing this, please make sure to hit that like button and share this episode with your friends, family, and anyone who might need to hear it. Your support means the world to me and helps spread the message to more people. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more episodes on self-improvement, motivation, and navigating the challenges of modern life. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, take care and keep finding that balance.